It is settled, then. Please excuse me, and enjoy your—
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
Excuse me, miss.
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at—
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I didn't know how I was supposed to face the two of you.
If it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring closure to—
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe—
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still—
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to—
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy? If he did the right, Papa always wanted to be a good man.
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa was a good—
Yeah, Papa was a really—
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword, he must have done—
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth. The current state of things is not something I'm willing to just sit—
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Florent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone...
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will milk it for all it's worth. And it'll be all the talk for the next several weeks.
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, after my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel... Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So he was drinking and bantering away with... After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. My first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands. All we could do was look back and forth at each other, not knowing.
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a third person there who was turned into water?
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to... The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callis ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the truth with any of us? He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front?
About that, Malouse told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why he committed to the duel. I'll tell you everything once the whole truth has been revealed.
I understand. Then I'll leave Mr. Callis's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callis the Unfaithful epithet has been a thorn in my side since the day it was invented. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callis, even after so many years have passed. But it was Mr. Callis's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula and live the life I lead today. No matter what others might say, he'll always be the man I respect the most. And
Don't worry. I will definitely... You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well. Hey, Thierry! It's me!
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you may...
Oh, so you've got news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done...
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callis did a fantastic job running the town. Building Spina di Rosula, it would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying... Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these 2 friends of yours? You,
Yes. These 2 are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case, and my father's,
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can... If you want to go through the original files from your father's case...
that'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question.
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father's case.
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered guard. So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do is get rid of the mecha serial numbers and...
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching, if I had to make an analogy. When you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders or carry your baggage. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same, removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost impossible to keep it a secret. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though, being in the synth business would definitely be profitable enough to afford this.
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, thank you for the... Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your investigation. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find...
Ad Astra Abbot. For justice.
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? You can just say, no. Sure. I will let...
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be, so my legs are...
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the Opera House.
Yes, I've never seen anything so...
Oh, you were...
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole murder I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. Quite impressive. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine discussing your exploits over a few glasses of wine.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkards.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone loves drama and theatrics.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right? The fact that humans...
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away.
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side has already begun to...
Oh, and...
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordials. If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it you who protected us?
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that Callus sought so dear. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, you can always return there. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last Mora to bring them to justice.
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. I'm going to strike while the iron's hot. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me, so it'll take me a while to recall my memory. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making sure things were running smoothly. I didn't even have the time to drink with the guests. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was history.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around some more.
Sounds good. Just let me know. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support.
This can work. I'll just strengthen this new sample.
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to investigate the case for so many... Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to...
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his family's lives would have been forfeit.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission, he'd be of no more use to his boss.
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order and seek protection from my... Makes sense. But without beside Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Thierry, you say? Huh. It is Pop, but I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha. I also don't think he'd be able to keep that kind of tampering.
Yeah. Had he actually tampered with the mecha, we'd be able to prove it with a simple check of the guard's inventory. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and how that happened.
Florent? It is true that he was closest to my father, but as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security, so he shouldn't have much means.
So you're saying he's too broke to afford a...
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be able to dispatch a whole group so quickly. Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him. And they worked together on a large number of projects. Maybe that's how he got to know Jacques. And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. It's still really hard for me to imagine, though. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own sin? Who could it be? You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing.
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. When he laid out his case for the three, the rationale he gave me made a lot of sense as well. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant intellect and foresight. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all—
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky, but we don't have any other options right now. We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in on our enemy.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got an—
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that—
Yeah, we know him.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do with him.
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news right away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right. Because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah. And it'll be a lot harder.
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, let's do this. I'll stall them at the Opera House. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to make it back in time.
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Lenny.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malus, Silver. When—
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might require— It's our hope that you're confident—
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Irenaeus.
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. Let's go and try to find find the entrance. Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. It sure doesn't seem... Ah, you're right. An important place like this is... Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to stop...
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently...
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to... Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the...
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly. And we have made... In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of the...
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got... Huh? What's going on?
Why she entered...
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your... But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for...
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearance, and if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia...
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway. So I'll take you up on... So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is... Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières!
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of...
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal responsibilities associated with it. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with...
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial. Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived...
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago. To the... Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of the—
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gunshot wound. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarande in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries. These are the known facts.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger. In truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him from— Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the prime— The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus when he set out. However, in the end, he reconsidered, and instead shared everything with Callus, hoping to seek the latter's protection. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility, and had sent out another assassin. This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead. A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise himself. But now, it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene, and that they were turned into water after committing the murder. Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder.
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial—
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide—
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was—
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two things. One, Do you have the evidence to back up your claim?
I'm afraid not. At least not.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable
Why do I feel like Farina's acting
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself.
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last...
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described, then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retain the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, Opera House cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callis was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twisted. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callis never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callis. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Know what you can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations, until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel teach you another lesson. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle.
No, it's not.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhna. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he need. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations, right? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me. And the biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. While that same agency has long been taken from them, the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher? Oh, so you do—
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard.
I was waiting for you to—
Let's begin.
Whoa! The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place. go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. The water level is rising! Now we can swim to the top! But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
A moment, please. Let's begin.
Now the path is clear! Let's go!
Witness the power of Gugwa. Rain outlines your fate. Time to shine! Barbados, guide us.
Way now. Stay cool and face your guilt.
After, though, as expected, the map. That's right. Then let's hurry up. Let's see what's written here. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be Yep! This should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he will still have the upper hand. He can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is to remove him from the picture entirely. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we don't touch Navia. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water! That means this is where they make all the synth! And that's if you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth! But the pure stuff can dissolve a human! Paimon will take notes on this incriminating... Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the... Mixing in progress. Ready to drink? Stock sample? Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, What's this over here? Looks like some kind of place for research. Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions on the primordial sea and use his theory. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 22... Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's... How can someone write something that terrible in such a matter-of-fact tone? You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he did... Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it! Vache was... No, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would he want people to In any case... What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... What? Huh? You mean the girls from... And then they were... And all the boxes of things. These names. We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems like our... Yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals this. No wonder even Nervalette wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is, that way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be... Sure thing. Paimon wanted... You take that side, and Paimon will take this. Ugh. Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either. Whoa, really? Let Paimon see. Vignier. Isn't that Vache's lover's name? Then you found... Aw. It's just a normal diary chronicling their love story. So many! A whole page's worth! The final name, Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Vignier's grown son? Hey! Paimon...
And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vache? Oh, so you...
I've merely surprised.
I was waiting.
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my...
Just how often do you intend to flout the...
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalette. Given their confidence, I expect...
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair, and we already know After your lover, Vignier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the You even created Marcel as a new identity, and destroyed all records of your past as Vache.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely... And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, you fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself.
Do you really think I wanted to do any of this? Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were left. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from... Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! But you only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice. Vignier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes. But I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't be
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go! I can't follow! So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try to bring... I did all of that, and in the end, that accursed Callus still got the better of me. I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get...
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please...
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! I still need to... Vignier! Please, Vignier! Don't think badly.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against...
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial disappearances case. The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vignier. During an underwater expedition, Vignier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore Vignier. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in Poisson. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began to manufacture and market synth. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict with Spina di Rosula. After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate their president Callus at a banquet. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent to the scene. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case. The Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against... According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Vacher is... guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher away.
Good. It's what he did.
With that, the serial
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would...
Yippee! He's hurt so many innocent people and now he's... Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come.
Yeah. See, Papa? Spina di Rosula.
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and it's a big ol' happy ending. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some business to attend to.
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None—
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't—
Please respect the laws of Fontaine.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just get...
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct connection to the serial disappearances case. The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. Tartaglia is innocent of the charges. We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Tartaglia is guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just— What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice actually returned a different verdict from the Chief Justice.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the Oratrice might have just convicted him on
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case, right?
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal is, by law, the final verdict of the court. We must accept the guilty verdict. Guards, please take the suspect into custody per court.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Nouvelette, what's going on? Shouldn't they have been cleared already?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, the Oratrice's judgment is the final. All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do with it! I don't know what happened there either! Hey, stop staring at me!
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either? But that's impossible. Didn't she create the Oratrice herself?
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Did you really believe that the judgment could be mistaken or be the result of some sort? Don't tell me. You thought even I had been blindsided by the Oratrice.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no idea what was...
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, including my supposed shock and bafflement, was a part of an elaborate performance, with every action meant to stir up drama and excitement. And, of course, for every performance, there is a script. Everything has unfolded exactly as I expected from the very beginning. As the embodiment of the very concept of justice, the Oratrice shall never render an If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been blinded by the superficial appearance of everything he's done. Not to mention the danger he poses. All shall be revealed in time. You will will come to understand my noble intentions, as well as the absolute correctness of the Oratrice's verdict. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance to end. As the lead actress, I shall be the first to take my leave. Toodaloo!
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we...
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually... However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, we'll take your word for it for now. After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff, so he should have...
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing?
Stop resisting arrest! Cease, or we'll...
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first... I erased all records of that name.
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? How did you manage to do it? The Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time. This is the last request I'll ever make in my life. You can do whatever you...
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers get to make requests like that?
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants when he's only...
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more than my life.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spirit? Very well.
Your Honor.
I will go with him. You do not...
In that case...
Thank you. Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing. Didn't you just drink a lot of it on the stage as well?
Vache!
Ah!
Yes, that's it. So you heard...
Vignier, it's me!
Vache?
I'm here! Where are you, Vignier? I'm coming for you.
Hey, wait!
Vignier, is that you? It's me, Vache! Vignier!
Vache? Why did you come? Didn't I say? You look a lot...
It's been more than 20 years. All this time. Only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you all of my... Vignier, you are my everything. I really don't know how I could...
But Vache, if you ask me,
This world. If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts, and my works would have been displayed in the Palais Mermonia. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have grown old and died alone. It's all because of your selfishness, Vash.
Wait, you are not Vignier.
You're right. I am not Vignier. Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back to the primordial. Our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea, and we were no longer individuals. But we became one, just as streams of water. I'm Cressy, the only one I am not.
Why? But then...
She doesn't want to see you anymore. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would... You are a liar. The only thing you are... From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vignier's, she has had nothing but...
No! Yeah!
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vignier. But on top of that, she also said that because it's her... She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you.
Vache.
Vache? Vache. 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 Drown.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to relax.
Huh. Well met, partner. I knew something great was going to happen when I woke up in such a good...
Even this weather can't put a damper on the demo...
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia! It's been a few days. Paimon's already started to miss...
Oh, now that I believe. I'm easy to work with and always bring home the bacon. Who wouldn't trust...
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days, Navia. What have you been busy with since the trip?
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making non-stop trips between Poisson and the courts in Sen. Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. We never held a memorial when he first died, since everyone knew that even at this time, though, everyone in Poisson, and even many people from the court, all attended.
So his name's definitely been cleared now. That's what we like.
It's been the dearest wish of Demoiselle.
That blasted stubborn fool. Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte just after I left the memorial service. Well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew she would be there, and there was no way she'd just let me...
Huh? So you know Charlotte too? The Charlotte? Journalist from the Steamboat?
Yeah, way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula, she was all over me. Wouldn't take no for an answer. I believe the story was called The True Heart of Darkness, Secret Tales of the Yellow Rose. To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. So, we've been on pretty good terms ever since. She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the series.
Oh yeah, she told us about that.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the critical evidence, that you both sound really cool.
Now that's another thing.
Oh, and in other news, I also took
Oh, are you two on better terms?
while you were investigating Vaché's headquarters, Clorinde gave testimony on my father's behalf. It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her. I mean, there's also no point in being awkward all the time, so we took the chance to reconcile with each other.
Oh, that's great! Paimon also thought Clorinde wasn't actually a bad person. It's always...
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved... Oh, actually...
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave, and tell him the truth, and on top of that...
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We want to go too!
Sure thing. I'd like you two to share the moment with me.
And in that case, everyone, let's be off. Considering the recent weather...
Yeah, you're right. It's... Huh. This is where my father's grave is.
Huh? There's someone there already. Wait. That figure. It can't be... Isn't that Neuvillette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my respects.
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to apologize. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown, but still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize to me over and over.
In that case, I will stop apologizing for now.
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotions, Monsieur Neuvillette. In any case, why did you come to put...
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is justice, anyway? There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things. That they could rebel against their own nature, or consider certain things to be more... Which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, should have been nothing more important than one's own continued survival. But Mr. Callus proved me utterly and decisively wrong. If not for his sacrifice, the serial disappearances case would have remained unsolved to this day. Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates, and for many people completely unrelated to him. And in the end, from a certain perspective, one could say that he did it all for the sake of justice. A justice that's higher than... So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus in person. This regret has filled me with a sadness. That high and mighty chair in the Opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your hard work.
So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but...
Sorry about that.
Didn't I just say...
Ah, so Navia and Neuvillette. Let's not disturb them for now. Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before. Did Paimon do anything rude there? Anyway, Neuvillette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone.
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your
We ran into Navia on the streets today.
I see.
Well, it's pretty hard to run into you.
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my pleasure. Your sibling, another blonde-haired traveler. If she ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure she followed our laws to the letter, and had no reason to appear on the stage of the... Is there anything else you'd like? My apologies. However, I still believe that...
But you...
For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I... As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice is not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, but it likely also possesses other traits. Which is all to say, I have been prepared for a situation like this.
So when Lenny told us that he heard a human voice from the room where...
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my conjecture. I will add that to... In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a methodology all its own. Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. She managed to bluff her way through it, though, with her time-tested twin tricks of bravado and drama. While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger will just have to... If we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit, we will most certainly compensate him to the fullest extent allowed by the law.
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll want is a no-holds-barred fight with you.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask? That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving Farina crying alone on her throne, but the sins of the people will be finally washed. Does that appropriately summarize the version you've...
That's right! It was Lenny that...
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to the world.
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro Archon? Wow. This is the first time that we've ever heard of it.
2 parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be dissolved. We should be more vigilant and stay on the watch for further signs. Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously. Indeed, she has been collecting information and intelligence from across Tevat for this purpose. If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum left to Farina by her predecessor.
But with Farina being the way she is, can we really trust her to solve it?
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about?
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that special water as water from the primordial sea, but what is it really?
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence after extensive research. There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of the sea we know today. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea.
Huh. So it really was where everything began.
But today, the primordial sea no longer... What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case.
Huh. So that's how it is. Oh, you really know everything, Monsieur Neuvillette. But if that's the case, then why would people, at least people from Fontaine, dissolve in that kind of water?
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture life, suddenly reverse itself and devour life instead? To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. There must still be some unknown secrets around the people of this land. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answers I could. I very much enjoyed conversing with you. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquility behind and return to Palais Memornia.
You really are super busy, Monsieur Neuvillette. Paimon thought you only came here to pay your respects today because you had the day off.
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice must work around the clock as well. This is merely the nature of a justice's work.
All right. You've got a point. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped. You know, we've been walking around for a while now. Why don't we go back to the Spina di Rosula base in the court of Fontaine and have a rest? Navia said something about having a place ready for us there, didn't she? Come on, let's go!
I once considered keeping some pets in my office, but soon gave up on the idea. It's just not right to keep small animals where they won't be able to see the sun.
A good newspaper should be a lighthouse of truth.
Let's begin. No backup, huh? Fine by me. Way now. Have a seat.
Let my name echo in song! Ah. How dare you! Let me weave you a verse. Huh?
A moment, please.
Let's begin. Not bad. Not bad.